we go. We'll fill for a minute, and then we'll get to it. Yay!
Yes.
Today's number is 34.
Hmm.
Not 37?
Not yet.
No.
Give it give it some time though.
I think we might jump right over that.
It'll be 37 for a second, hopefully.
Did you see the Veritasium episode where they're talking about, all right, give us random numbers, and on a from 0 to or from 1 to 100, and it turned out that the number most often said was 37 and 73.
Yeah, I watched that episode and I immediately dismissed it because by the end he had not brought up an iconic scene from the movie Clerks not once, and how that sort of thing like will sit in your subconscious for the rest of your life. And he was like coming up with all of these like scientific reasons, and I'm like, it's because of Clerks. Like, you're of the proper age, you idiot. You should know this. Like, it's not a random number. It's my favorite number because of Clerks. But yeah, I saw that episode.
He did ask him, is there any particular reason why you picked that number? And no one mentioned Clerks.
Well,
I wonder how many people, though, they didn't show that they're like, why did you pick because of Clerks.
Yeah.
Because it's a funny number because of Clerks.
Because, you know, in a row. And on the way through the parking lot. Anyway. All right, well, that is 2 minutes now, so we should be good to go. So here we go. Oh, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is, amazingly, episode 701. Ha! Take that, Monday Night Magic. You know, the real one, not the weird knockoff that is currently running. We have beaten you. Ha ha! With a hammer.
Yes.
And I know where the body's buried. I mean, nothing. So, hello, this is episode 701. If you didn't listen to 700, don't worry, we're still trying to figure out what to do for 700. I am Chewy, and I am the Angel, and I have a big-ass sword. That's right, we're doing the RPG again already. Didn't we just do that in 699?
We did.
This is crazy.
Oh, that was, you
like
know,
3
a couple
months
weeks
ago
ago
or something. Yeah.
But no, it actually it was maybe like a month ago. So yeah. Hold up. Let me see here.
Yeah, it was more than that. I mean, I have it open in a tab. That was May 8th. So about 3 weeks.
Yeah. That's
when
really
it went
fast
public.
for us. Yeah.
So anyway.
I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler tangent master of the group, and you know it's bad when the tangent master is the one that is also the GM. You guys come across a skeleton in a clearing, and oh look, a squirrel. Because I'm distracted. Yeah, ha 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 ha. But I'm here to lead them through all this nonsense and see what they do with it.
Yeah.
Maybe blow themselves up.
I'm Mike. In this game, I'm Kareem, the soldier, and also vampire. And if I play my cards right, maybe some other disaster will happen to me.
Would that be playing your cards right?
I'm trying to be optimistic about it.
That's fair.
This is the man who played what is that? Fortune. on himself and like decked himself, right? So yes, I would say what is that card? Draw 7 cards every time you cast a spell.
No,
Fortune's
you
favor.
played that, and then I
Oh,
miscounted.
and then you miscounted. But you
Forced
leaned
fruition
into it.
is the card you're
Forced
thinking of.
fruition. I knew it was an F, so he effed himself. Yes. So so yes, that would be for him.
Well, I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed blah blah blah, self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group, and my character is Alaric, and I am a human monk who spends a lot of time shooting things,
He does.
Like with a
For
bow and arrow.
yeah.
or the breeze, one
For
or the other.
Yeah. His take on Alaric, I love, I really do. And only every now and then do I remind myself he's a monk. He's not the punchy kind of monk. No. He's the shooty kind of monk. They
I
made a
can
movie.
punchy, can punchy kind, but I deal more damage if I shoot things.
It's
So
true.
I have resorted to shooting things.
I do like way back toward the beginning of the campaign how the first person to punch a character to death was
Was
not the
my
monk.
was
Was Kareem. Yeah.
my
I am also going to make sure I call Dirk Alaric and Mike Kareem the whole episode.
All right, we're gonna put money down on this.
No. You guys can. So, if that's enough of an intro, just to remind people where we're at. Last time on Dragon Ball Z and all that good stuff, you had made your way into the tower of Eichelnir and found yourself at the top and then going down an elevator. You had been going in purportedly with the guidance of Seer, who was Donathier's old apprentice. And it turned out that yes, she was with you when you entered the tower, but at a certain point, while you were absorbing some lore, and Kareem in particular was learning a little bit of the backstory, having a bit of a lore dump, she got ahead of you and uh, left an illusion behind to kind of still help you and guide you, but she went on ahead. And then after you took the elevator down, you found a passage that ran from the tower to under the tree of Drizil, which sits at the center of this plane, an enormous tree that the roots of which are just supercharged with mana and prevent getting close unless you're going underneath. And you found an incredibly long tunnel that had certain aspects to it that allowed you to walk faster and get tired less easily to thus make the journey faster. But you also found several chambers, and the first couple, when they were labeled with things like Hypnox, P Negator, Alpha Wolf from Innistrad, you were like, no, not going to open those. Although I will say that
Despite our
Alaric did.
GM desperately wishing we would. You want to open it? No. You sure?
I was
No.
I was I was just giving you the opportunity, and I will say that Alaric did seem a little more interested in the wolf, but kept going. And then passing a couple more for Grinning Demon, Vampiric Dragon. When you were kind of pushing along from there, you started to see other things, other creatures. You saw a figure outside of the door for the vampiric dragon, a homunculus, kind of in the style of, let me see if I can get this right, Fibblethip.
There you go.
Aha! And he seemed absolutely positively determined to open the door to the point that he unfortunately had to be detained,
Destroyed
destroyed.
eventually.
Alaric summoned a wolf. Meanwhile, Kareem kept going. Like he's like, oh, they've got it. He kept going. And at the next door, which had an obsidian fire heart behind it, he found a fairy trying to open it. Gleaned from this information that both of them apparently were summoned by someone, seemed to be indicating the mistress who was up ahead, and that she had instructed them to slow you down. tried to grab the fairy once the others caught up to it, and she managed to just get far enough away that she came to the last door, which had a sliver or overlord in it. She opened the door and was murderized by it, with all while cackling, and you got into a scuffle. Honestly, a pretty big scuffle that had the angel go all out from the beginning, glass cannon, just go right into a battle frenzy with this sliver overlord. Every time chopping off one of its multiple heads, it would spawn into a new form of sliver until you managed to put them all down. Feeling
Mhm.
tired, feeling somewhat expended, having used certain magical resources, you dragged yourself on a little further, found the end of the tunnel, and as we were ending last time, it opened into an enormous area, the diameter about which is about a football field, circular, clearly an artificer's workshop. Tables, experiments, machines litter the room. So it is not just a giant empty space. And toward the center of it is what can really be compared to a pod, like a simic pod, with a little larger, may fit. I think we said about 5 smaller creatures or about 3 larger creatures inside of it, and you thought you saw the figure of Seer inside. You're not sure what time of day it is. You're underneath the tree, and I will say, and I will note, and I said this last time, looking around, looking at the walls of this place as well as you can, because it is dark, although there are signs of magical lighting in here. The walls all the way around you, as far as you can see, they do appear to, they're not, it's not a smooth surface, and your first thought is, oh, it's a root system, but you swear out of the corner of your eye it almost seems to pulse just faintly, and it gives you this unsettling feeling of being within, like, an organic being, like in an organ or a stomach or something like that. Nonetheless, you have the chamber in front of you again, about half a football field away or so, and it is quiet except for the sounds of your feet as you enter this chamber.
Okay then. So wait, are we done? Are we done recapping now? Are we all
That
here
is
now?
the end of the recap.
Okay.
Okay.
The cutscene is over. You may now interact.
I hate it when there's not a skip cutscene button. Son of a.
Well, just save so I don't have to literally play
You
this out
can't
for you
save
again.
except before the stupid cutscene.
Ha ha. No.
uh, I'll be honest, that recap has me all kerfuffled. I got nothing.
Well, so you said we think we can see our acquaintance across the room?
You think so. It is a fairly decent sized room, but the pod itself does appear, at least portions of it, to be transparent. There are other parts that are kind of like gunmetal gray into blue, but
Is
you
this like
think you can see a figure inside, and it seems to have the proportions of Seer.
a cryo chamber looking thing, or like from Alien, or like a Tanos's coffin looking thing? Like, what are we?
I'd have to let me see Tanos's coffin again. The best thing I can think of is, hold on one second. Let me see if I can pull up something that might be a better reference. Oh well, hey, you guys have all, well, not Mike. Um,
Damn
two
it,
of you have
Mike.
played. Two of you have played Kingdom Hearts 2.
I played Kingdom Hearts 2. I played all the way through Kingdom Hearts 2.
Did you? Okay, never mind. Bonus points for Mike. The pod that Sora's in at the beginning of the thing,
Oh, like
not quite
anybody
as like
remembers that.
flowery shaped.
I was just so
Gather.
excited to actually see Sora that I don't even remember any of that.
It's also been probably a couple of years since you played.
Yeah, I played it when it was new and have not touched it since. So, but all right, let's go
All right.
first.
Well, I'm going to hustle over there and take a closer look.
Is it TAL Oneos?
Oh my God, TAWNOS.
Bonus is coffin. Uh, uh, uh.
All right, doesn't matter. We'll make our way over there to go see
Okay,
what this is.
okay. You start making your way over there. As you get closer, you see that she appears to be inside, eyes closed. When you are maybe half the distance away, she opens her eyes and smiles, and she says, "Oh, good, you've made it." The sound does not you kind of see her mouth move a bit, but the sound kind of comes from all around you, and you're not sure if it's like a projection system from within this chamber, or if from within the device that she's in, or if it's being magically enhanced or what, but the sound seems like it's coming from all around you. Oh, good, you've made it. I apologize for delaying you. I just wanted to make sure I got a feel of the land.
That is no excuse for almost killing us with giant eldritch monstrosities. Thank you very much.
And you look, especially as you get closer, and the look in her eyes, before she was a little harder to read, but there's a coldness there, kind of calculating, and she doesn't stop smiling, and she just says, "You're alive, aren't you?"
Yes.
She holds up a hand. You're probably about you 3/4 of the way to her at this point. Again, passing various tables, things set up. She holds up a hand, and you hear a heavy, groaning, creaking sound. And if you stop to look behind you, a metal door that is kind of like a pocket door to the hallway is closing behind you until it shuts, and there's almost an audible hiss, and she says, "Now we're all where we're supposed to be. Thank you
Um,
for coming.
I'm sorry. And who says we're supposed to be here?
You've come this whole way. Time to see everything through."
I No, you're not getting off being cryptic. You just sicked giant eldritch monstrosities on us to slow us down. You're lucky I don't stab you where you stand.
Could try, but and she wraps her hand against the container and makes a bit of a pong, hollow metallic sound. You'd have a hard time getting through. I just had to make sure I got here before you. You're going to help set me free. You have done so much for me today. I always wondered if Donathier survived. I always held out hope, but he didn't.
What?
He put him.
I'm
He didn't.
reacting
He's.
naturally. You're not monologuing
I.
here. We're having a conversation.
I. I know, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm. Yeah. He didn't survive. I always had held out some hope, but she bends over and seems to be almost fiddling with something, and she picks up something off the floor. Looks like a cloak. He sealed himself in here. He came every couple decades to send some of his spark and a great deal of his mana into the plane to keep it going. This was an artificial construct from the beginning. And I think he was in here doing just that. when that event, that depowering, sundering? No. What was it? And now real life Brian is all of a sudden blanking on the word for when the planeswalkers got
Mending.
depowered. Thank you. Seer did not forget that. Brian literally had a brain fart.
Who?
The mending, the Brian's not here. Brian is everywhere. Um, he's in here pouring his essence into the plane as all of a sudden his divinity is ripped from him. I can only imagine. And she kind of looks around. There's not really a release valve because he never needed one. I suppose in a way he's still here. He's all around us, but I believe in my heart of hearts his essence has been used up long ago. And she kind of lowers and lets her hand fall. And for one moment, you do see that there is maybe a single tear getting ready to spill from her eye before she wipes it and gets a hard look on her face. He's not here. The planeswalkers that have come in the decades since then have been pale imitations of what he was. You're not gods anymore. You're just you.
Story about trying to save Donathir.
Say that again. Say,
I'm,
I, say that again.
I was, we were pretty much literally a captive audience. You could have just told us you needed help instead of making up a whole story about trying to save Donathir if you knew he was already gone.
She looks at you directly and she says, I didn't know. I suspected. I didn't know. Not until today. I held out hope that he was alive. But he's
Oh, so
not.
you're just finding this out now too.
She nods. And then she kind of gives you a steady look. I'm a realist. I always wanted to save him. I did. But if he's not here anymore, I will not go down with the ship. I'm not going to stay here as this plane crumbles. Like I said, he's not here anymore, and the rest of you can't save this. One day, I'll be stuck here, and the last of his vision will fade away. But there's a solution. I can leave with your help.
How does that
And
save everyone else here?
she looks you in the eye and she says, it doesn't. She snaps her fingers, and the chamber seems to light up inside. At this point, I have you guys, all of you, probably within a couple feet of this pod. She's clearly doing something, and you sense that there's an enormous buildup of mana all around you.
Mm-hmm.
What is each one of you going to do? If you just want to continue to react to the situation, that's fine. But you are now on alert. Something is changing. Something is happening. You are in this ginormous chamber. You do not see anyone except for her in this pod thing. And she's just snapped her fingers and an incantation has started. If you don't know what to do, she'll continue to do whatever it is. But I'm giving you an opportunity to do whatever you feel like is an appropriate reaction for your character.
I think we got to get out of this room.
Or at least put some distance between ourselves and the pod she's in. like at the very least, because she seems really intent on doing something drastic.
No, we got to get out of here. She's going to try to trap us. I'm going.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you turn around, you look around quickly. There's the heavy door that is now essentially half a football field away from you. Um, you do not see any other exits except that the chamber goes up further than your eye can see, and you surmised you're underneath or perhaps inside the tree. Which direction are you trying to run? Are you trying to run back toward the door you came through or another way?
Yeah, back toward the door.
Okay. A Kareem with vampiric agility starts to run back toward the door. Are you guys following suit or are you doing something else?
I mean, I don't have anything else to do, so yeah. I mean, he's faster than we are, so I'll just follow him.
Yep. Same.
Alaric? All right. All of you do that. What I would like each of you to do
Oh Jesus.
the is well, you're running. No, that's fine. It will take you a little while to cover that sort of distance. She sees you do this and she says something, but you don't quite make it out. You think it may be an incantation. And in front of each of you, maybe about 15 feet in front of where you are running now, you see a shape start to blur. And something is kind of parting the ether. And you know a summoning spell when you see one, and there's one in front of each of you. I need each of you to roll
Jesus.
a d20 and add one to the result for each land you control.
All right.
Let's see here. One, two, three, four, five, six.
25.
25 for
All right. For who?
For Alaric.
Shut up.
Alaric.
Not you.
He was waiting to see if I'd mess it up. No, I was writing, so and that's my excuse.
I'm still
25
trying to
for Alaric.
count up how many lands I have. I think
I
I
got
have 10.
21.
25 and 21.
I got what did I just say? 10, 17. Ugh.
17. Oh, well, here's the thing. So, stepping out of each one of these is an almost identical looking what appears to be a merfolk with
Make its head explode.
it it is tall, it
A
is
very
lanky, and each one is brandishing a very wicked blue or a gray blade like a knife with glyphs carved into it. And each one seems to stare into your soul for a moment. For Alaric and Kareem with those rolls, you feel something try to push into your mind and you kind of hold it there and but still you feel like a bit invasive. Angel, the same thing happens, but you don't quite have the same resistance. You're caught off guard, this whole situation, you're not sure what's happening except you have this fight or flight response. So you feel a bit more penetration into your mind. But then something happens. The merfolk looks at you kind of confused. The other two are kind of like still staring into the eyes of the others. The one that's looking at you kind of snaps its head back, and you hear Seer say, kind of again from all around you, "Who are you? I can't sense your true name."
Wait, this is happening in my head?
This is uh the sound of her voice is out loud through the
Okay.
same system, but the merfolk that's been trying to look into your mind comes up blank. The other two, even with the higher rolls, look like they're having a little more success, but with the angel it's almost like she's looking for something that's not there. but these merfolk are now between you and the door. Um, each one is kind of standing there because of the fact that they're summoning sick. Each of you can take a reaction if you want, and can take an action related to, you can either try to run past it, deal with this merfolk or whatever. But each of you has a merfolk in front of you, and for Alaric and Kareem, it looks like they're kind of seeing through you, but you are putting up some mental resistance. You feel like it has not penetrated as highly as it could go.
I
So
mean,
let's each person tell me what you want to do.
I'm still pissed about the whole Sliver Overlord thing. So obviously, I'm going to take a nice diagonal slash at this stupid merfolk that's in front of my stupid face, who's making me try to remember things that I can't remember, and that just pisses me off more.
All right, take out your anxiety on this poor merfolk in front of you. So go ahead and roll for your attack.
20? 10? What? You got to remind me of these things.
With yours, it's a D12.
12. That's a 10. This is a 12. I roll a 5. What do I add to that? Let's see here.
You have
Heavy weapons
weapon.
3.
Yeah, so that's a total of 8. So without issue,
are we adding power to that or anything?
plus your power, which
Okay,
is
so 11.
2. So 11.
Sorry, you
Wait,
said 8, 10.
Yeah, without issue. It kind of, again, this thing is almost kind of reeling back, just like what's even going on. You just cleave through it, and you can keep going. You other two, what are you doing?
I'm shooting a pure fire arrow at mine.
Shooting a purifier. Now I will note that you are running while you're doing this, and this thing is fairly close, so it's going to be a little harder to hit, given that you are both very close to it. So it can react to seeing you draw your bow, and the fact that you are trying to run and shoot at the same time, which is not as easy as Legolas would make it look. But
Well,
you
if
can
it's
go
that
ahead.
close, I might just bare fist it.
Oh, you're gonna bear. Oh, we were talking about this. All right. So
Make his head
so
explode!
Alaric is like, wait, I'm a monk. So go ahead and roll for a bare fist attack.
What am I rolling?
That is I'm trying to find that right now. I, I I don't remember the last time that anyone has even used this. So go ahead and roll a d6 for me,
3.
and add 3. So okay, so that's a total of 6. Um, this does start to kind of see you coming, and it halfway blocks your punch. It looks like it's almost reading your movements as you're making them with preternatural speed. So I will say that in trying to punch it, you did land a punch, but it kind of like caught your arm at the same time. So your movement forward is halted for the moment. Kareem, what are you doing?
I'm just going to lift up my shield and barrel through.
You're going to lift up your shield and barrel through.
Now,
Okay.
damn it, that's funny.
Just keep running. Just keep
running. Just keep running. Just keep running. Thank you, Dory. All right. Since you are just trying to barrel through, it is, as you get closer, reading your movements, it's going to try to grab onto your shield and dig in its heels. So I'm just going to make a quick roll here. Which shield are you using? It's probably the only shield
I
you
have a
have,
dour
but
shield.
oh, that's right. So, okay.
You have a what kind of shield?
Dour bark.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's really good against green sources, but this is not a green source.
No.
Way to go, Mike.
Okay. All right.
I mean, Kareem.
You are slowed down a bit. It grabs your shield. You try to duck at and kind of get around it, but you're mostly just trying to barrel through, right? It
Yeah.
grabs your shield. It tries to dig in, but it is surprised a bit by your strength. you are slowed by about half. Okay? So that was each of your actions, and that's kind of the action of the merfolk that you were stopping, or you were trying to get through. The merfolk that was trying to stop the angel is just dead. Now the merfolk that was just punched by Kareem is now gonna try. Did I get that right?
No.
No, so close. As in not close at all, because we've only been doing this for like 5 minutes. Alaric's punch buddy is now going to raise its dagger and try and strike at
Blue punch buddy,
Kareem.
no punch back.
All right. So, Alaric, what is your toughness?
My toughness is 3.
Okay, and what is your defense? Is it 4?
4.
Okay. All right.
Clark, did you just withdraw into a portal and?
Oh yeah, I was blowing my nose and I moved the
Oh,
microphone
okay.
up. I didn't want you guys to listen to me blow my nose.
Seeing Alaric suddenly, duck his head to sneeze politely so you don't sneeze in the merfolk's face. It does raise its dagger and strike down, and with a very good roll, it actually does deal 1 point of damage to you. So that is 1 toughness off of you.
Okay.
It does not cause any other damage, but it is trying to hold you in place and restrain you. So now, kind of back to the angel, because you were the first one to go. You're running forward. I will say if you're trying to keep an eye out for your friends, or unless you are just barreling straight forward, you do see that each of your companions is at least somewhat encumbered by these merfolk. Alaric is completely stopped and is basically having a fist fight, fist to knife fight, I guess. Uh, Alaric is being slowed, but is like still making progress. Do you
You
continue?
just
You
absolutely
say
cannot get them both right at the same time.
no, I can't. But what do you want to just keep say? Oh, my buddies have got this. I'm good. We need to get out of here.
No,
I will
no,
say that.
I am feeling the again the rage and the. It's not exactly bloodlust because I am a being of pure white mana, but
Mhm.
uh, I am not happy about this.
I
Um,
will say also, as everyone kind of took their last turn, you do feel almost like a sucking sensation trying to pull you back toward the pod. So that if that's helping you prioritize, there's that too. But go ahead.
well, that's interesting. I'm going to assume that I'm not super far away from Alaric, so I'm gonna try to turn, like, stop and turn and stab the merfolk that's just it's just stabbed
Yeah.
him. Because one
I
good
will
stab
say
deserves another.
I will say you are not terribly far. I will say you'll need to take a couple steps back, but not an issue. Not an issue.
Yeah.
So, okay, you stab the merfolk.
Yeah, I'm
Roll it.
gonna try to stab the merfolk. Roll on the 12. Roll on the 12.
Roll roll a d12.
I got. Ooh, I got an 11, so that's plus 5 is 7, no, 16. I can math. Shut up.
Plus 5. Yeah. Yeah. You Alaric did already get in a decent hit, but you just kind of bring it down and you just start at the top and just pull it straight down. Um Alaric, as the merfolk crumples in front of you, you do feel this pressure come off of your mind. And you do realize, yes, you were holding it back, but whether you realized it or not, you were having to make a conscious effort to keep this thing from invading you further. But you are no longer, you know, locked up with a merfolk. So what do you do?
Uh, I'm gonna go and see if I can help Kareem.
Okay? Kareem is still pushing forward, so you'll kind of like thank the angel, I guess. and just start booking it across the room, or a little bit to the right, as I'm kind of imagining in my head, and you make it over without too much issue. Again, when you come across this, it's the same merfolk. You swear it's the exact same merfolk as the one that just died, but this one is kind of not breaking eye contact with Kareem. And Kareem is like pushing his way down, but this thing is just kind of locked onto his shield. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna come and do a jump, and as I'm jumping through the air, I coming down with a downward punch to hit this merfolk.
You're
the
doing a
you're
dragoon
doing a Superman.
punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have Superman in this? Probably not.
So roll a d6 and add 3.
7.
Okay. All right. This one had not been dealt damage before. I will say when you kind of land on it, it kind of sees you coming out of the what appears to be the corner of its eye, and it starts to raise one hand to block, but it does not lose eye contact with Kareem at all. And you can tell its focus is kind of on him. And when you bring down your punch, at first, it's you're not sure that you dealt damage because it's almost like hitting wet sand. And then Kareem, you notice first that the pressure on your mind all of a sudden is gone, and all of a sudden you like start to fall forward because you've been pushing, and this thing has almost dissolved in front of you, and it's really weird because it did not look like he hit him that hard, but it's dead.
Oh wow,
So
thanks.
Problem.
all the merfolk are dead. You guys continue toward the door.
Yep.
I do.
Okay. You start to head in that direction again. You hear Seer say over the whatever system it is, you say, "Don't go. We're just, huh? Wait, no." And you feel the pressure kind of pulling you backward start to intensify for just a moment. And then she says, "No, no." And all of a sudden, you are pushed forward a bit, and you hear her suddenly scream, and then it suddenly gets cut off. And a blinding light fills the chamber. All of you are almost knocked on your feet. And once again, eerie, eerie silence. And that magical pressure that seemed to be building, it's still kind of there. It feels like humidity right before the rain, but it's not pulling you toward the pod anymore. You
I'll
take a
look over
second.
my shoulder
Yeah.
for
You,
anything obvious.
Yeah.
you look back over your shoulder. All the lights in the room seem to have dimmed for a minute, and now they're kind of back on. And you watch as the pod opens. The transparent part, a shimmer, like almost a like how light will cross across a plane of glass just from one direction to another, and then it slides open, and the figure seems to just fall out and looks beaten a bit and very almost burned.
I'm I'm gonna reach out with my what's it called, spiritual awareness, to look for evil, because
Okay.
that's what you do when the person who was just menacing you suddenly screams and dies.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's see what's your modifier on that. 2. So roll a
2.
yeah. Attune to your surroundings to detect the presence of undead or demonic creatures or objects connected with black or white man, as well as the general emotions of creatures within those surroundings. So I will say this is a big area. I've tried. We're doing theater of the mind, but not a small area. Go ahead and roll a d6 and add 2, but understand if you are trying to pick up on her general area, you will probably need to come closer to it. So start to walk back the way that you're going.
Okay. Huh. 5 plus 2, 7.
7.
Come back here.
You are getting like nothing from the body on the floor. The body that has just hit the floor. You're getting nothing at all.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, I guess. Guys, what just happened?
Not a clue.
Hey, Vampire Boy, you see anything?
You look
Mike?
around. Kareem?
Is Mike still here?
It's a good question.
Did you sit on the volume again, Mike? Oh, I saw him mute and unmute.
Hello?
Oh, there you are.
There you are.
Yeah, the connection on my laptop just conked out, so I'm on my phone now.
Oh.
Huh. Okay. What's the last thing you heard us say?
Chewy was trying to get the results from his spiritual awareness check.
And
Oh,
he
I
was
got
saying,
nothing.
and he got absolutely nothing when the body hit the floor. Nothing whatsoever. Although he did have to walk a little ways back. I'd say probably Chewy, Angel, you are probably maybe 20 feet away from the pod. And as you get closer, yeah, that was definitely her. Wearing everything she was wearing. And she's now crumpled on the floor, kind of half in, half out. Uh, I will say, Alaric, the angel did ask you, "Hey, vampire boy, how did he put it?"
Oh, yeah, I said, hey, Vampire Boy, do you have any idea what just happened? Or are you getting anything or something like that?
But asking
No.
Kareem that.
Well, yeah,
No
because he's the
clue.
Vampire Boy.
Yeah, and if you're kind of looking around with your heightened,
Yeah.
dark vision, no, I mean the presence of mana in here is still there, but it has not gotten any more intense. You don't see anything that causes you to suspect anything.
Okay, no, I mean, nothing looks weird to me.
Well, people
Well, I
don't
mean,
just
no weirder than it's
try
than is
to
obvious
threaten
to anyone.
us and then drop dead. At least, unless I killed them. So,
I don't know, or maybe all this ancient weird machinery, maybe she didn't understand it as well as she thought she did.
I mean, she did say that Donathir was in. Sure, okay, hang on. Quick question for Brian. Donathir was getting in the pod that she was in, and that's how he was transferring his spark and mana, right?
What she seemed to indicate, everything that
Well,
she's told
that's what she
you,
said. Yeah.
yeah, that is exactly what she said.
Okay. And she
Everything has been
was,
through inferences, but yeah,
and she, as far as we know, was not a planeswalker, right?
as far as you know, yes.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Back in
Sure.
character. So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
wonder, like she said that was what Donathir was using to send his spark out into the plane. I wonder what effect it has on someone that doesn't have a spark.
Oh. Oh.
I don't know if this is something malicious or if she just didn't do it right or if it was working as intended. I'm not sensing anything outwardly evil that would have just up and murdered her.
So maybe the machine just took her soul out and sent it out into the blind eternities or something?
Or maybe? Or whatever this thing does? I don't know. I don't want to get in and test it out, do you?
No.
I mean, now it's starting to suspiciously seem like a way out of here. But yeah, if someone tests it, it doesn't sound like it's something where they can report the results, good or bad.
Each of you do me a favor. Go ahead and roll a d10 for me. Don't add anything to it. Just roll a d10.
I don't like this.
You don't like whenever I have you roll.
No.
I
You
rolled
can
a
never
7.
play. You can never play D&D with us because you'll spend the whole time just being miserable. We'll
And-
be like, Chewy, roll
And
for
notice
negotiation. You'll be
I
like, I hate
don't
this.
play D&D.
So, let me know what you guys get.
I got 7.
You got a 7?
So did I.
I got a 6.
Wow.
9. Wait.
7,
6.
7, 6. Okay. I will say at 7, Alaric and Kareem, both of you do notice that beyond Seer's body, there appears to be something in the pod, and it's almost shimmering, and you're not sure exactly what it is from this distance.
Okay.
That doesn't look like a good thing.
It's I say shimmering, and that has a certain connotation. More like shining, like a bright object or something. But as you kind of tilt your head, you realize, kind of like a jewel has to hit the right light. You can't always see it. It's small. You'd have to get closer, but maybe around the size of a human fist or so. Angel,
Hello.
you've kind of sent your spiritual awareness out, focused on the body and the immediate surroundings. You don't immediately see what they are seeing.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, now I'm curious. I will walk back over there.
Okay. You walk back over to the pod, get it a little closer. Alaric, are you also walking, or are you just kind of clocking him?
I'm gonna walk behind him,
Gonna
like a
walk
little
behind
ways behind to see you know, see if I need to step in to help or.
Okay. Kareem, when you get close, you're still, everything appears. Something doesn't feel quite right, but this whole situation does not feel quite right.
Mm-hmm.
You get up close to the pod, but still kind of trying to keep your distance. You are intrigued by, yes, there's something shiny in there. Looks like it could be maybe a necklace or something. You're not sure. It's about the size, but something else feels off. And it's only when you get to Seer, maybe within like a foot of the body, that you realize that something is really, really off. And it takes you just a moment because you haven't been a vampire your whole life. You look her over and she looks burned and broken and bloodied. There is no smell of blood. Kareem, roll a d20 and add your strength. Your power, sorry.
Okay.
Wrong game. Add your power.
My power is okay. 4 when not in direct sunlight. Okay, got it.
And you are not in direct sunlight.
Okay, so 21.
21. All of a sudden, you feel something, a spell or enchantment or something hits you, and you are being pushed toward the object in the pod. With that high a score, I will say you are pushed almost inside, but you manage with your vampire reflexes and your strength to grab onto the outside of the pod. And the others see this happening, and you feel like you're being sucked inside. And now, all of you, the feeling of mana, that just lingering sorcery around you, is getting more intense again. And the voice comes from all around you as the illusion of Seer's body disappears. And she says, "This will be so much easier if you'll get inside. You may even survive. I'm just going to take your spark so I can leave." And as she says this, there's this whirring, sort of almost mechanical sound. And after a moment, again, the feeling of magic is continuing to intensify. You feel an almost familiar feeling. You went down the elevator before. The chamber is starting to slowly rise. This entire 300-foot chamber is starting to rise slowly and then starting to go a little faster. Kareem, you are trying desperately, I assume, not to go in the pod unless you just want to let go
No,
and
no,
see what happens.
I'm trying my best.
Okay. All
Um,
right. So he has reacted to that and he is trying to hold on to that. I will ask the angel and Alaric, watching this happen, hearing this voice, feeling the movement of the whole chamber all of a sudden starting to rise the whole way across. What do each of you do in this moment?
Do I have time to like summon up a little bit of white mana and put a like a barrier across the door just so that we can put some distance between ourselves and it, like to stop the to seal the suction
yeah,
essentially, if that makes sense.
and
Interestingly enough, you are I will say that you can certainly go ahead and do that. You don't feel a pull toward the pod. You
Oh.
only see Kareem currently, and I will say that especially because Alaric, you said you were following him fairly closely or so. You
I
said you were
was
coming in behind him, right?
I was, but not like right behind him. I
Right.
was just covering
You were covering.
behind.
Neither of you feel the pull, but you can see what's clearly happening to Kareem. Um,
and I have a question too in the
yes, sure.
same similar vein as Chewie's. Like, what opportunities here do I have to? So first, like, do I have an opportunity to draw some mana too? And then also, my connection to Aosk says I can only do it once a day, but I do not remember whether I have done it during this game day.
I don't think you have, and the answer is yes, but we're going to get back to you in just a second because we're going to say you're spending a couple seconds to, first of all, reorient yourself. I'm not trying to
Okay.
make that decision for you, but given the spur of the moment, they have a moment when they are kind of watching you like try to resist. So this is their
Okay.
initial reaction. And then you will absolutely, your turn is not wasted for the next 5 turns, just like you're not grappled. So uh you do kind of think about what you want to do. Angel, you asked if you could spend some mana to just try to create a barrier over the door. Is that right?
Yeah.
To like stop suction?
Yeah,
Or do you want to change what you wanted to
or
do
if
when
nothing
you
else, give him something to push off against. You know, just
Okay, so you're trying to create some sort of physical barrier, and this is using your manifest white, or do you have another
yeah.
spell that's a little more? Okay,
I mean, I
all
don't
right.
think break open will help here because then there's, although it might, but
Just cast it backwards.
oh yeah, there we go.
Break closed.
Framin on
Yeah.
the Jim Jam.
Open break. Um, Okay, so you're casting Manifest White. How much mana are you putting into this to try to create this barrier or something for him to push off of?
I'm sorry, I hate Mike. Oh,
Well, yeah. I mean, that's understood. We'll just keep going.
I don't remember how much.
It's a white
It's
and
X and a
however much
white.
you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you're the boss. How much would it cost to do that thing
I
that I'm trying to do?
for something like that, especially if you were trying to keep it small, it would not take a whole lot. So I would say X
Oh,
and 2.
you, you mean a white and two?
A white and 2. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about what I
Oh,
was thinking. Yeah.
okay. All right. You hold up your hand, you begin the enchantment, you start to release the mana, and some jerk in the room is playing blue, and you watch the spell fizzle out.
What just happened?
And it is up to you to tell me if we know that your character, does not have full memory, but she's also been around for a little while, so you can tell me if she ever would have dealt with a mage that would know something counterspellish,
I
or
mean,
if she is just
I'm sure being a being of white mana and having been around for a while, I know what a counterspell feels like. The reason
yeah,
I say what just happened is because as far as I know, we're the only actual physical people in the damn room.
right.
That
And
wasn't
I
a
will
I've never
say,
experienced this before. That was a who did that?
right, and that is exactly what you feel, and you immediately start clocking this room, and once again you're reminded this is a big place, and it's not empty, but yeah, you're also ticked off because it sucks to have your spells countered. So,
It does.
Alaric, what are you doing?
Um,
And then we'll get back to Kareem.
so the thing on the floor is not moving, correct? That just fell out of the pod.
What,
The
Seer's
it
body?
looked like her body, and it was an illusion, and it dissipated
Okay.
Oh,
as soon as Kareem started to get pulled
Yeah.
into the chamber.
I
Yeah,
think I missed that somehow.
sorry, it's on me if I'm not communicating correctly.
Uh,
This is now the second illusion of hers that you've seen.
I'm gonna start looking, checking around, and see if I can find whatever the source is.
Okay,
Because if she's
so
saying something, I'm gonna look around and see if I can find what is going on, where the voice, where she is, and everything.
okay. So you do, as a monk of the Savage Path, you do have kind of like a connection to beasts and other simple-minded creatures. She's not
Simple.
simple, but you are also, you're kind of in tune with yourself. Now, the sound of her voice has been echoing through the chamber this whole time, almost
Hmm.
sourceless. But I'll say, roll roll a d10. You do have empathy of 2, so this isn't exactly empathy, but roll a d10, add 2, just to see if you can really clock. Do I see anything
I
that
rolled a
just does
7
not?
plus 2,
7
so
plus
that's
2.
9.
You don't you don't see anything exactly, but you have yet to make your way to the other, kind of like the far side of the room on the other side of the pod, and you just have an innate sense of, you just watched Kareem start to get sucked in, the body disappear. She's still talking to you. Someone is still casting spells, and you just saw the angel's spell basically fizzle right in front of her. You get the sense that you know you're not alone. You don't see her right here. You may have some intuition. Maybe she's a little further away. Seer is not right in front of me. She may be some distance away on the other side of the room, but you don't see her. Kareem, back to you. You are
Okay.
holding on, but you can draw mana.
Yeah, I think the idea I started to have is actually kind of dumb. I was thinking about turning into mist, but that would probably make things worse for me right now.
It's totally up to you. It is totally up to you.
No. Okay,
Okay.
so I am going to try to like push and like roll away out to the side of the door, just out
Okay.
of the way of it, so I'm not directly in front of it anymore.
Okay. All right. For this, go ahead and roll a d10 and add 4.
Okay. 10.
10? 10 out of 10 for a total of 14.
No,
You
I'm telling you the total.
Oh, dirty 10. Okay. All right. Okay. Still, that's quite good. I will say so your goal is, and you described it to me, you are trying to roll out of the way so you are not like
In front of the open
kind of,
door anymore.
yeah.
Yeah, push
Right.
off and roll to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do that, and you immediately find, and you get a little distance, and as soon as you are not in front of the door anymore, you start to straighten up, and you immediately find yourself almost pinned against the pod, and you realize, oh, the sense of being sucked in, that's kind of the best way it could be described for. That was the sensation. It's not necessarily a physical sensation. You're not being pulled in from the door. Something is telekinetically trying to shove you or get you to that point. So even though you are no longer in view of the open door, you are definitely to the side. You still feel that this spell or enchantment is doing its best to physically relocate you inside the pod. But it is not a teleportation effect, so you are able to resist it physically for the time being. With me?
And I like stand up against the side of the pod.
Oh yeah, you're totally standing. The way I would envision it is you rolled and trying to get clear of the door, being clear of the door, you still felt that pressure, so you stood up and you still have the length of your body against the pod. Absolutely.
No, I mean
So,
like stand up like feet against the wall of the pod so that I'm like
oh,
standing up, sticking out at a weird angle.
oh,
All right, Spider-Man.
uh, you give it a shot. With that, I will say you attempt to do that, but you immediately, as soon as your feet start to hit that, the top of your body is almost starting to wrap around. Like the spell is just trying to force any part of your body it can into the pod. So it's almost starting to like spaghettify your top half, and you realize, ooh, I don't feel so good. So we'll say you can brace yourself with one foot on the ground, one foot on the pod, but putting your second foot against the pod, Spider-Man style, is immediate. You're going to lose any control over the top half of your body. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Okay. All right. So all of you've taken kind of those actions in turn.
You're a goober, by the way, Mike.
As you're doing these things now, you feel that the upward trajectory is starting to accelerate, and the mana is really kind of condensing in the air. And I'm trying to describe this over a period of time, but you almost feel like your senses are being slowed a bit. And Seer kind of speaks again to all of you and says, you know, planeswalkers think they're so unique. And rightly so. Some of you, I think, used to be gods. The thing is, some people, when confronted with gods they worship, other people try to topple them. And in going through Donathir's research, I heard about someone named Yawgmoth, and he kept a planeswalker for years and tried to dissect her and take her spark out, and it never worked. But then I also heard about a metal creature named Memnoth, and he actually had a plan to remove a planeswalker's spark, and it halfway worked. But he was an artificial being to begin with. So it made me wonder, how can I do this successfully? How can I become a planeswalker, or at least utilize a spark, so I can leave this plane so I don't have to die along everyone else. That's all I want. And Alaric, as the last words sound, I will say that because you told me you were specifically looking for her, you do see what you think is some movement on the other side of the pod, not right up on the pod, probably a quarter of the way to the far wall. You think you see something, but remember, there are desks, piles of instruments, machines, things like that, and you think you see a shape kind of between two inert golems. But that is kind of the quote unquote action that she is taking. So Angel and Alaric and Kareem kind of in that order. What are you guys doing? Angel, you tried to cast a spell and some blue player countered it and you don't even see them. So frustrated is a word, but you also feel the chamber being risen. What do you do now?
I wonder if she could hear me if I whisper to these other two.
You can try.
Because clearly she doesn't want. This is me thinking out loud. Clearly she doesn't want either me or Alaric. She wants Kareem, either because of the vampirism or the red or black man. Something. She wants him for some reason. You all right?
I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost over my cold. Just a little cough. Keep going.
Sorry, I'm still just thinking out loud.
Yeah,
And,
that's fine.
You know, trying to be entertaining for the sake of the anybody listening.
Sure.
All right.
Or it could just be because I was the one dim enough to walk too close to the pod.
I mean, possibly. I don't know, but you'd think she would try to shove all of us in there if she was trying to kill all of us or suck out our spark or whatever. All right, so I'm gonna get over to where. Well, wait. Kareem has vampire senses, right? So he could hear me if I whisper anyway.
I'd say
is that right?
I'm looking specifically at what effects I gave him under the vampiric curse. So
I know he's got really good vision. I just don't know if he has really good hearing. And I assume if he did, this would be a thing that would have come up in conversation. That's why I'm asking you directly.
I don't know that I know that that's one of the common tropes for vampires, but that is not something that we put into the vampiric curse details.
Okay.
So you can whisper and see if he hears you, but you have not had positive proof of such an ability until now.
Okay. Well, I'll assume he doesn't have, because like I said, I assume that sometime between now and then that would have just come up when he's like, "Look what I can do now." Stand over there and make a fart noise, and I'll tell you what it smells like. Sorry, that's if actual Mike got became a vampire. Okay, where are we all in relation to each other?
I would
Kareem
say
is up against the pod, like
he is
not where the entrance, not where the hole is.
Yeah, I would say you are probably 10 to 15 feet away from him. You're probably the next closest. Alaric made a point of saying he was not right behind him and he was watching to see what happened. And in fact, as soon as this was happening, he was looking around for Seer. So picture this: Mike is at Mike. Kareem is at the pod. You are maybe down and to the right of him,
Mm-hmm.
about 10 to 15 feet away. I will say Kareem is maybe 25 feet away from him, but on the left side. So you
Okay,
guys, there's some distance, maybe 15 feet between the two of you. Got it?
got it. All right. Well, that's not that far, and there's nothing pressing going on right now, so I'm gonna run over to within whispering distance of Mike, Kareem, Steve, whatever his name is, Billy Bob. And I made a joke earlier, but I'm actually wondering how good of an idea this is. Uh, hey Kareem, can you hear me?
What?
All right. I hopefully she can't hear me. Um, it seems that this contraption here is the source of all of her plans, right?
Yeah, it's pretty important, I think.
What if we just break it?
I'm on board.
Cool. Because I happen to have the ability break open that Brian gave me, I think almost as a joke.
Almost as a joke, but you earned it.
uh,
And you used it to break down a door 2 episodes ago. So
yeah. So I'm wondering. Oh, it's a spell. Oh, I thought it was an ability.
it's a spell. Break open is totally a spell.
Okay, that's not gonna work then. Cause she'll just counter the damn thing probably. And I'm running low on mana, I assume.
You've been pretty well exhausted.
Actually, wait a minute. I didn't use any spells. Oh, I did use an aura conversion, and I used a 3 mana manifest white. I suppose I could just give it a shot. It's all right. My plan is gonna be then, as soon as something else happens to distract her, whatever that is, I'm gonna try to break this damn pod.
Okay. So we don't have a specific rule for this, but absolutely, if you are kind of holding that spell, and you're not going to try to use your sword, you're using break open, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So as soon as something
Um.
else draws her attention to where she might not counter it, she's.
Mhm.
I'm assuming she's not freaking omnipotent. So
Mhm.
that is my plan. Only you know this, so I probably should have just sent it to you in a text message or something. But whatever.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, so that is what you're formulating. You've had that conversation with Kareem.
Yeah.
Alaric, what are you doing? You thought you saw that movement over there.
I'm gonna yell. I think she's back here, and um, I'm going to summon Wolfpack. But in order to
Okay.
do that, I need to do Mana Spring to have enough mana to do it.
Okay. All right. So you use Mana Spring. Um, which I'm looking for in your abilities.
Is it
Oh, it's yeah.
6?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, no, I don't have to do it because I actually have enough to do it without the Mana Spring. Never mind.
okay. All right. So you cast Summon Wolfpack. So you summon a 7/6 green wolf token with when this creature attacks, ignore it the target's defense for the duration of this attack. So it's essentially a thorn elemental.
Oh
So
Jesus.
so you summon a wolf pack, and we'll say for the purposes of this, it is essentially one creature, but it is basically four almost dire wolf size wolves that all have this. They like all look at you at the same time, and all their movements are kind of mirrored, and they can spread out a bit, but they all take essentially one command from you. So you have summoned a wolf pack. Um, as soon as you do that, hmm, you all right. You summon the mana to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear out loud, "Wait, what?" As you pull this mana, and like I'll say, as when people are casting spells, you can feel the pull of mana, and this is not a small amount. And you feel almost a tugging sensation on the mana as you are almost like an outside interference with this. 1 second. Up. Oh. And for a moment, you feel the spell start to slip away, but you complete the spell. And the wolf pack is there.
All right.
And as
I'm
soon
gonna have
as
the wolf pack go and go on the hunt.
and you start to send them in that direction that you thought you saw her in, as soon as you do that, you see her actually all well, the you and the angel can both now see. Angel, you're kind of paying attention to this?
Well, yeah,
I'm assuming. Yeah,
a
it's
pack
a
of wolves
giant,
just
it's a wolf
appeared in the
pack.
room,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm
You
I'm
you
looking in
you
that
watch as
direction.
you watch in that direction as there's another shimmer in that direction, and then Seer steps out from between two golems and says, "Well, that's a nasty trick." And she snaps her fingers, and the wolf pack dissipates. Um,
Okay,
it the you're
as she does
uh-huh.
this, I'm gonna try to take advantage of her being distracted and try to smash the pod with a break open.
Understood. And I knew that that's what you were holding for, and that's why I was trying to figure out how to time this.
Yeah.
So, Dirk, the wolf pack is essentially returned to your hand. Your spell was not countered, but as these creatures are not unique creatures, you feel them try to manifest again, and you try to figure out if you can resummon them again, but you feel the spell kind of dissipate. As you watch this happen, Angel, you lock onto her and you cast Break Open. She feels you. She turns toward you,
Wait a minute. Did
and
did she
sorry,
just
go ahead.
hit Dirk with an echoing truth?
No,
Oh, okay. Just checking.
no. Um, she bounced the wolf pack. She feels you pull. Just it's what, one in a red.
It's just 2 mana.
She feels, and she starts to throw up her hand. She says audibly no, but you have chosen the perfect time to do this. You cast the spell, and for a moment you don't think anything happened, and this almost sort of invisible grid, hexagonal grid, you think you see appear over the pod. And it seemed to be almost a moment after Seer threw up her hand. And she lowers her hand and she says, "Nice try." But as she lowers her hand, just on the pod wall, beneath this shield she had thrown up, she was too late. A crack starts, and then it starts to spread. And within a moment, the whole thing is cracking and breaking open, and she is screaming at you, and the whole thing just, with the sound of rending metal, it tears apart, and the glass explodes outward, not enough to hurt you, but it showers your face and Kareem's face. Kareem, as soon as you lose your purchase on this, you are immediately yanked forward into where the pod used to be, because the spell was not generated by the pod. The spell was just trying to push you to a particular location. And
Mm-hmm.
as soon as you reach where the center of the pod was, the pressure lessens and you're free. The spell had completed. So, in this, to summarize where you guys are, Alaric, you just summon a wolf pack sent it toward her. She stepped out. That pack is now dissipated, so you have spent the mana. But, Angel, you did sneak in that break open, a spell that she probably never in a million years prepared for anyone to cast, and it broke the pod apart.
So what
That
did she
was
say when she thought she'd stopped it?
something like, I didn't write, like, nice try. And she was
Yeah.
smiling, and the smile
And
immediately went away.
after this all happens, I'll be like, it was a nice try, wasn't it? And then I'm going to point my sword at her because that's what I do.
For a moment, nothing happens. And then two things happen at almost the same time. First, with Seer, she starts to raise her hands, and you assume a defensive position, and then she just stops and lets her hands fall to her sides, and then starts to slowly fold down to her knees, if you're following that. The other thing that happens is, Kareem, you are now in the center of where the pod was.
Yes.
You feel this rush of energy from beneath you. And it just wraps around you before then starting to dissipate throughout the chamber. And it hits all of you at the same time, and it continues spreading out, and you realize this wellspring of mana that makes up Drazil is almost like now backing up, pushing through you, and for a moment it's intense. It affects each of you a little differently. Alaric, we'll say first. You're the furthest away. This actually impacts you last, but it's probably the most straightforward. You feel an immediate sense of panic, and almost an immediate sense of, I need to leave. You have a flashback almost to a first encounter with a particular pack of werewolves, and this just primal sense of fear. And then once the energy is kind of washed over you, you're okay. You've seen worse. You feel almost better than you have in a while. You regain all of your expended land. All of your land are now free to be used.
Mm-hmm.
And you regain any lost toughness. You're topped off.
Okay.
Kareem, this hits you first. I'm going to ask you. You searched after you defeated Gander and you acquired the vampiric curse. You searched for a way to remove the curse, and you figured out that due to the way it was implemented on Gander and then passed along to you, you didn't seem to have the means to do that. And even as you were looking through the tomes and learning the manifest spells, this was something that was a little out of reach. You are now your cells are being blasted by mana.
I am now a double vampire.
Can you guys hear me?
No.
You
Yep.
stopped randomly.
My headphones said auto shut down now, and I'm like, don't do that. It's like, to disengage, press the power. So I pressed the power. It said auto shut down disengaged, turning off, and I'm like, what? Why? So so
Okay, the last thing we
so
heard was
successfully.
Mike was getting surged
you're
with
getting
mana.
blasted by mana, and then you die. That's the no.
And then Mike, what did you say?
I said now I am a double vampire.
And that's the last thing I heard.
You feel you feel your cells almost being baked from the inside. This power surge. And for a moment you feel infinite possibilities. So I will ask you, Kareem, in this moment, you feel like you have access to abilities that you've never had before, but you also get the sense this will not last forever. Do you voluntarily remove your curse, or do you keep it?
Oh, I am removing my curse.
So you are now, you, as the others watch, of course, everyone's going through their own things, but if anyone can watch you, they watch the color return to your face. And there's a moment of brief and then not so brief pain as the inside of your mouth seems to contort, and then the red leaves your eyes, and the curse is gone. You return to your original power, you lose all the benefits, and you lose all of the negative attributes of the vampiric curse. That is just gone from your character.
All right.
Because you chose to remove the curse and you directed the energy that way, you do not regain the use of the lands you've already been using since the last time you rested. But you do regain any toughness you had lost.
Okay.
Angel.
I'm an angel. The
This
the angel.
this this energy hits you. And for a moment, nothing. And then it starts to penetrate your skin, and then it seems to penetrate your bones, and it's kind of, oh, I feel great, and then it feels a little like, oh, I'm gonna get blown away, and then it seems to almost tap into something you didn't even know was there, and you feel a voice calling you, and then you realize you think it's your own voice. I will ask you for one moment, you feel like you can regain some part. You're not sure if it's whole, you're not sure if it's one memory, you're not sure if it's everything you ever lost from your past. You can regain it now. Or you can choose to simply take the energy into yourself, strengthen yourself, and close what may be the only chance you'll ever have at regaining those memories for the benefit of empowering yourself in this moment. Are you looking backward, or are you closing that chapter?
All right, hang on. I'm gonna. That's a big one. I'm gonna have to go. Nope. To go look at my backstory thing real quick because it's been a
Go right
while.
ahead. Yeah.
When was this file made? 2017. Jesus. Okay. Because this is all stuff that the angel, knows innately, but me as the character playing her, sadly, does not know innately. Okay. This all seems bad. Then the mending. Hmm.
If you recall, and the decision is 100% yours to make, but you've had glimpses into yourself since you've been here, between finding the note in your own handwriting,
And people recognizing
illusion,
me.
people recognizing you, but then almost not, almost like I know you, and then kind of a pained expression, I don't know you. So no answers to who you are, who you were. Although how much importance you base on who you were, that's up to you.
Yeah. Well, the
So
reason
you
I wanted
had
to go back and read this backstory thing real quick was try to get a feel if the angel would want
right,
these memories back.
right, and part of the trick to that is she doesn't know what all of them are, but would she want them back now? And that's really only a question you can answer.
Yeah, reading this thing here that I wrote oh so many years ago. I think given the chance, I think the angel would say, well, since at the moment nobody is in mortal danger and it's not a choice of, you know, get my memory back or, save my companions or anything like that. It's just, now we're, am I gonna, as you said, look back or look forward? I think she would welcome regaining any amount of memory that she can,
All right. So
knowing
she
full
here
well that this could in fact be a bad idea.
right. And that's part of the risk you take. She hears the voice and she realizes it's her own. And for a moment she has this feeling of decision of what do I do with this? This is more power than I've ever had before, but I have never seen past this wall. I have never been able to break through this. For all the break opens I've cast, I've never been able to push past this. And so feeling that, looking at her two companions, maybe watching Kareem shake off this darkness that's been following him for say a couple weeks now, um and regain something of himself, Angel decides I'm going to regain something of myself too. And you stop and you amplify the angel's voice and you make it louder and louder, and images start to come into your head a little bit at a time and then more. Now let me ask Chewie, how much of her backstory do you want to come up with and how much do you want me to fill in for you? It's totally up to you. You made her. I don't know if you ever had a thought to filling in this part.
I did not. Like I've got. Do you have the backstory thing that I wrote forever ago?
I do.
Okay. Well, then that's all that I put into it. So just
Yeah.
whatever, I guess.
Well, then let's say this for now. You feel this jumble of emotions. You feel faces. You start to hear names and they start to mean something to you. Not just the people you've known for a couple of years now, but people that go back. And you start to remember wrath. The place, not the emotion, not the sin.
Yeah, I'm well aware of the emotion.
Yeah. And for a moment, you almost turn your eyes away because wrath is a very bad place. But then you push past that a bit and go back to where you came into being as an angel, as a fully formed creature of white mana, originally without even a spark, and you see a plane, Fiora, and the name comes to you, and you've never been back. And maybe on your travels once or twice you may have heard of it, and for some reason you just never went. You never, and if it ever the opportunity came up, it was almost like you a feeling not of dread, but of like cold water just coming over you. Like I'm not going to go. Nope, I have nothing. There's nothing for me there, and you start to get some of these glimpses. Now, what I'll say in this moment is you're being kind of inundated with this feeling. We're going to come back to the present now, and over some time, assuming she lives that long, more and more of these memories are going to fill in. But she begins to see herself not just as this blank that she has filled over the last several years, but as the complete person from origin till now. She starts to see the whole of her map being filled in. and it feels pretty amazing. And in this moment of euphoria, you don't regain your mana, but you do regain any toughness you had lost. I'm not sure if you had any, but you do regain that.
Yeah, I think with all of the various bonuses that I had accrued, I think I ended up actually taking no actual lasting damage.
Okay,
But
but
doesn't matter.
the exhaustion from the fighting the Sliver Overlord gone. You feel fresh and renewed.
Nice.
And all three of you, the mana seems to be slowing down a bit. All three of you kind of caught up in your own emotions, eventually kind of reorient yourself, and all of you realize, like I said, a couple things at once. First of all, you're still climbing. The platform is still going up, and now at a fairly high rate, fairly high speed, but you don't feel an immense like pressure like 5Gs or whatever, you know. But you're still climbing. You also realize Seer, her eyes are glowing and she's having an experience similar to yours.
Hmm.
She starts to stand up, kind of falls down a bit, and then straightens herself up. Well, now I'm afraid I couldn't get what I wanted. I wanted to harvest a spark from one or perhaps more than one of you if that's what it took, so I could leave. This plane won't last forever. Donathier made sure that I had an extended lifetime so I could help him with his goals, but he's not here anymore. I've lost my purpose and I don't want to be here anymore. I thought if I took one of your spark, or maybe more than one, I could leave. Or if I couldn't become a planeswalker, I could channel it into an artifact and go. Some of the research talked about an artifact called the Immortal Sun, kind of locks planeswalkers into place on a plane called Ixalan. I'll admit, we had kind of a prototype here, and it's kind of my fault you haven't been able to leave. I was gonna turn around so I could leave, but I don't I don't foresee the three of you letting me do that now, do you?
Wait. This this whole thing has been you?
She, having had that moment of, you're not sure if it's euphoria or pain or whatever it was before, now standing up a little straighter, possibly empowered like the rest of you, she looks you directly in the eye and she says, absolutely. You know what happened after he left? Planeswalkers came. Sometimes they stayed, sometimes they left. They looked for him. Everybody wanted the great Donathier. But when I figured out that he probably wasn't coming back, I thought, you know, I can't stay. You guys, you planeswalkers with your power, your ability to just walk away from any problem, you'd be the answer. So I found the prototype Immortal Sun, figured out how it worked, and if a planeswalker came, I'd just keep him from leaving. Couldn't let other people know that they shouldn't keep coming. Some of his old associates came from time to time, and I would talk to him, glean a little bit of knowledge, and then have to get rid of them. But none of them opened the door to the tower for me like you three did. So I couldn't get here and get to, and she gestures toward the completely broken pod. So I couldn't take what I needed from them. So I just got rid of them. And then you three show up, and I thought, okay, You seem pretty skilled. Maybe you can open the door, and there's enough of you that maybe, again, quantity over quality. Ever since the mending and Donathier's disappearance, the number of planeswalkers that come here has slowed considerably. Seems like it's a lot harder for you guys to get around. And some of the overt envy seems to be replaced by sarcasm there. So I figured, better grab you three while I could. And you were led right here, weren't you? But you broke the one thing that I needed.
Well, I mean, you were trying to rip part of our very beings out using it, so that's really your fault.
She examines her nails. She's like, "True."
So I don't remember because it was 2017.
Say that
Why did
again.
we come here?
We were trying to find Donathier to get. I think it was a chase quest because Donathier was supposed to be able to help us leave.
Yeah. All you had, Brian, above the table, all you'd heard about since you got here was Donathier's awesome. Donathier's
No.
great.
How did we get to this
Oh.
plane? Did we come here on purpose, or were we just sort of?
You were trying to get to Tarkir, and while stepping through the blind eternities, you had a sense of some massive shape, some massive being moving through the cosmos, maybe an Eldrazi, and it kind of unanchored you. And for a moment, you drifted, and then you were kind of pulled toward this plane.
Oh, okay. So we didn't
You
land
lost
here
your
on
footing.
purpose. Though I didn't think
You
we
did not. And the first thing you tried to do was leave.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
you couldn't.
Okay.
And so then you've been looking for Donathier ever since, because he's the one, no matter which civilization you went to on this plane, he's the one name everybody knew. So
Yeah.
it's like the Wizard of Oz,
Okay. That's what I thought. I was like, I don't think we came here on purpose, right?
No.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah.
Is the chamber still moving?
Chamber is still moving, although is starting to slow. The other thing that you would start to be aware of as you are slowing is you realize Seer is now walking away from you toward the far end of the chamber. And she's kind of looking back over her shoulder and talking to you at the same time.
I'm not just going to stand here. I'm going to follow her.
No, and that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think she's a threat anymore, so
you notice quite disconcertingly that the walls themselves that you thought maybe kind of had the sense of movement before, then you were moving up, and all of your senses were kind of drawn toward that, plus the pod, all that sort of stuff. As your ascent is slowing, the walls are definitely pulsing. She gets to the far wall, and I understand you're following her.
yeah.
And she reaches and start kind of like glides her hand over it. And she says, I felt a little bit of a boost there. I think Donathier's last gift to us, some of the mana and maybe some of his spark that was left there. Imagine you're feeling pretty good right now, and I'll be honest, now that you've seen the real me, I don't know that I'm really a match for the three of you. I also know that we're probably not going to get along. As she's speaking, the platform slows and slows, and suddenly you see above you what appears to be a ceiling light is starting to come down through it in patches and then more patches, and then you all of a sudden burst through, and you are literally on top of the world. The platform has stopped at the apex of the tree, and you've just kind of come through the topmost layer of leaves. And as you look around and you see essentially the plane laid out before you, there's one section of the wall that is still above the platform, and that is what she kind of ran her hand along. She now plunges her hand into it and says, "Time to say goodbye. Do make this interesting." And as you watch the wall itself, this section of it starts to writhe a bit, and then it kind of sucks her in very fairly quickly, and it kind of shudders around you, and there's this low groaning sound, like the sound of 1,000 rusted gears suddenly grinding against each other.
Why do I feel like there's a final boss fight? Why do I hear boss music?
Because you do. And the tree itself seems to almost shudder and warp. The platform you're on remains, I'll say steady, but it definitely shudders. But the tree almost seems to be reforming itself around you. And Sear's voice kind of booms out one more time. "I'm giving my consciousness up to this thing. Donathier didn't just plant it, you know. He battled some immortal being somewhere, and instead of destroying it, he kind of transmuted it into this tree so that it would be able to nurture the plane. Kind of ironic, it was a creature of destruction, and he repurposed it. But thanks to that last little bit of energy you shot up since you destroyed the pod, it can wake up again. I'll just I'll give it a purpose. I'll give it a mind. See you in hell."
I don't suppose there's
And
any chance to try to use a charm or bluff or anything to talk her out of this, is there?
you can try right now. Try that, and that'll be the last thing that we do since it's 10:15. Charm the dragon, please.
Well, no, I was gonna try to like talk her out of this
Uh,
last petty attack somehow.
Go ahead. Go ahead and roll a d6, add 3 for your charm, and we'll see if it has any effect.
Okay, wait. Would it be? Hang on. Would it be? Would it be charm or bluff? Be what I want to do here. A sentient target more agreeable or friendly using attraction. Oh, that probably won't work. Attempt to convince a target of a point of view using wiles or perceived truths. Okay, there we go. I'm going to try to bluff.
Roll a d6, add 2.
Oh, I was going to try to formulate an argument. Is that not necessary? Okay. Oh, it's like modern U.S. politics. The actual argument doesn't matter.
Roll a d6, add 2, and then based off of that, then tell me what your argument is,
Well, it
and we'll
doesn't matter
see how
because
that.
I rolled a 1, so it's a 3.
Oh, well, that's okay. So tell me, in this moment, she's just been literally reintegrated herself into this being. which, if you want a reference, think of the Merit Lodge token,
Oh, goody.
kind of separating itself from the tree. But it's very tree colored. As she's merging with this, tell me, for flavor, tell me what it is you are trying to do.
All right, I'm gonna scream out something to the effect of, "It doesn't have to be like this." That that surge of mana gave me back a lot of memories. Surely there's something in there, and we're 3 functional planeswalkers. Surely we can do something to get you off of this plane. You don't have to do this. We can still help you. And mind you, I'm the one that's pissed at her about all this. So
Yeah.
for me to be saying this should be even more of a something to make her stop and think, which is my.
And honestly, that I dig that.
But I rolled a
With-
1.
With that, there is a moment's hesitation where she stops, and the creature, whatever it is, which is still kind of, as I've said, it's amorphous, it is reforming itself, stops. And for a moment, her voice comes back, and she says, I don't, I'm not sure. And then it cuts off, and another voice comes in, and it sounds like 1,000 rusty nails scraping against stone. And you gather it's whatever this thing originally was. And all it says is, no talk, no leave, destroy. So you tried to reach out to her, and in that moment, she was trying to impose her will on it, and it said, nah. So we'll get back to this next time, but wow, you broke the pod. You broke the pod.
Was that
So now
was that something that you had planned for?
that was something I had planned for.
Damn it.
I had plans for I had plans for if someone went in the pod, if it could fit up to 3 people, how many people went in the pod, or if it broke, or if you finished the fight without damaging the pod. And you went the break, and she was going to counter a break open, because this was the key to everything, and you planned it in such a way that I couldn't disagree that you were waiting for that one moment. And Alaric, who's also not Kareem, casting a spell for what, 6 7 mana, something like that, 8 mana. She's like, there's that moment where does she counter? She's like, no, when I can just dismiss it back to hand for a lot less. And that is totally her focus is, oh, these giant wolves are, are a problem. She was very much blue through and through, with a little bit of white for protection. And so her first instinct with the break open was shield the pod, but because you were waiting for that moment, you got it. And so now you're just gonna have to deal with whatever happens next. So good job. You totally hear boss music.
Right. When we first started this, we alternated back and forth between like action episodes and talkie episodes. And I feel like these last few, or at least the last 2, like the last one was the all action, but this one I feel like we had a good amount of like talkie and just enough action for it to not be like,
So a good balance then.
I think so. This episode was obviously heavier on the talkie, but still.
Yeah.
Stuff happened. We didn't all stand around and get talked at by the GM and then call the episode done.
Yeah. Which I always love talkie, but I think it's a lot more interesting when you guys are allowed to interact. One of my favorite episodes of this so far actually was the episode where you were in Oh, I have the thing right here. What is the name of that town? The water town where you did all the shopping and you went to the bar and the angel hit the bartender or the waitress up. That was a good talkie episode because that was hilarious. You were all getting various levels of drunk. So that I really enjoyed. But me just describing an environment to you for, 2 hours, no, not so much. So yeah. No, this was a good one. And I
Yep.
wanted to give you some options as far as like if you did break the pod, here's some stuff that could happen, like the curse and whatnot. Chewy, if you want to think a little more about the Angel's backstory by the next episode, you're welcome to. You don't have to. This was not a homework assignment, but she is basically regaining memories, and it's up to you how much you want to have a say in that and how much you want me to just be like, all right, cool, here's what she went through. So just kind of keep that in mind. We'll
I
get back
mean,
to another episode, and what do you think? Like 2 years? So,
given that I'm sure the other two dorks didn't come up with an entire biography for their characters.
Dirk, quite a bit. Hey,
Huh?
Dirk, where did Alaric go to grade school?
The city of. Hold on.
It's it's okay. I'm not putting you on the spot, although it sounds like it. So, okay. But no, I'm giving you the option. That's all. So just get back to me. Did you figure out what the creatures she summoned to try to stall you from getting out were? I was curious.
Merfolk.
Some sort of merfolk,
They
something or other, I don't know.
Yes. It was true name Nemesis, and the role was to see how
Oh.
much of your identity they could imprint upon themselves. And that's one of the reasons why, even though Alaric dealt a similar damage to both merfolk, the one that he was fighting took less damage. Whereas when he jump punched Kareem's, it dealt more damage. And the angel, even though you got a lower roll, due to your backstory, there was less for them to imprint. Like they could only get a little bit, but they couldn't penetrate into your whole deal.
Hmm.
So yeah, thought you'd appreciate that. Not trying to be like DM like this is my clever thing. Just didn't know if any of you picked up on
I
that
do
or not.
always
So
enjoy trying to figure out what. That's why I said, did she just hit those wolves with an echoing truth? Because I was trying to figure out what
yeah.
spell would get rid of all of them at once.
Well, since they were being treated as a single target, it was just
Uh,
a bounce spell, which I have the name of somewhere around
well,
here,
you
but
said the word dissipate earlier, but I don't know if you meant the spell or just. That's a counter spell, isn't it?
that's a counter spell. So I have the name down here somewhere, but
Actually, need to go to
I
bed.
clo- I closed that tab because I know Dirk needs to go to bed. So
All right then. Well, Dirk, any final thoughts on anything at all, or that episode, or
Um,
arrows, wolves?
we're just getting to the end of the school year, and I still have to make sure I get all my stuff done and ready for today, or for in preparations for tomorrow, because I got a bunch of my classes are taking their final exam. So, yep.
Fair
And
enough.
with that, I'm gonna head on out.
All right. Night, Dirk.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
good night, Dirk.
I love that guy.
Good. He totally. I didn't mean to be like you're a monk. You should punch things, but he punched things this time.
It's a weird
So for my
episode.
final thought, this was fun, and I it's always weird for me to evaluate these things because I'm doing it, I'm playing it with you guys, but it's not the same. So I don't know how much I always feel like I can give my opinion like what's fun for me, but that's not always the same. So I do feel like I agree with you that I think this one was generally a good balance. So and good on you guys for playing along and keeping it interesting. Break Open was totally a joke, and I am so glad you cast it multiple times.
Yeah, when I said it earlier as a joke, I was like, Wait a minute. Hang on now. Wait a minute. There, could it work? Does he know? Mike, you all right?
Yeah, I am.
You're not a vampire.
But so
anymore.
that's-
You all right about that?
No.
You good?
No, yeah, I mean, that's great. I don't have to. There's not the constant danger of me flipping out and attacking you all because I haven't drank blood recently enough.
The last thing you ate as a vampire was a sliver overlord, and it was gross and strangely good, I think we said. So I think I re-listened to the last episode, and I think I said tasted better than you'll ever admit. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the taste you're gonna take with you. But that's my final thought. 34.
You guys remember MTG Dad Charles?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
Today's we met him in Jersey, Mike.
Oh, cool.
I'm pretty sure. I met him a couple other places. I
Yeah,
think it was
yeah.
at one of the Charlottes.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Apparently today is his birthday, and I was like, "It's a hell of a present you got." He seemed to appreciate that. So just in case you listen to this, happy birthday, Charles. He's on JudgeCast now, you know. I like that guy. But anyway. Oh yeah, hey, the Patreon thing. Don't forget, patreon.com/themanapool. You can get the odds and ends and the oh Lord, wrong button. The odds and ends and the early access and whatnot.
Don't press the wrong button.
I almost opened like I middle clicked accidentally on my bills tab, so it would have opened up what is that, like 8 tabs, which given that they're tabs where I have to pay bills, they probably would have caused a major drag. Let me thank our mythic lifeguards too while I'm here in I don't know this order. Team Uhellas Haru, Scuzzo, Michael, whoever that is, Kim Ho, Casey, John Parker, Jason Kaus, Jason Doan, Jake Jansons, Andrew Odie, ALK Alters, and Al. Yay. So, yeah, with that... Wait, was that everybody? Mike, did you final thought?
Oh, no, I didn't. But,
Look, we both forgot you didn't final thought.
but that's okay. I'll let it go.
No. Well, you can final thought now if you like.
No.
All right, fair enough. Ooh, I made a mistake. I picked up... Oh.
That reminds... I made a mistake. That's my final thought.
Ooh, what mistake did you make?
I could not freaking remember... I was confusing multiple people when I was trying to think of who we were thinking of last time. We were trying to think of our friend of the podcast last time.
Oh, yeah.
And I confounded multiple people. Like, you were able to remind me that that one of the people we were thinking of, and scrolling back through our text messages.
Yeah. I mean, Brian was thinking of Bruce Richard.
So one of the people we were trying to think of was Bruce Richard, but then I confounded him with Evan Pringle. So
Yeah.
Sorry to both of you. I don't know why I got you mixed up in my head so bad and could not remember either of your names.
Somehow
Sorry.
I remembered that it was Evan, and I'm pretty sure that was a listener, Mike. And you were like, no, it's definitely. I'm like, no.
God, yeah, I was just all over the map there.
But yeah, Bruce actually congratulated us on hitting 700 on BlueSky, which, by the way, you should follow me on BlueSky. It's themanapool.bsky.social or whatever it is. And I was like, thanks, man. Crap, that's who Brian was thinking. And yeah, Evan showed up for a very long time during the charity streams, so he was still fresh in my
good.
memory, and I was pretty sure that's who we had sent the Chandra stuff to, but I wasn't gonna say that on the episode and maybe be wrong. Unlike Mike, who was very willing to just be wrong.
Oh yeah, just completely wrong. And like the same day that you had sent to our chat. Oh, that was Bruce Richard. Like earlier when I was looking at Richard, yeah, sorry. Earlier I was looking at Facebook and it like suggested Evan as someone I might know, and I'm like, oh my god. And that's how I got reminded there.
Nice. So the mistake I made was more personal. I installed and started playing Power Wash Simulator VR. And that has proven to be a not wise decision. Because as much fun as Power Wash Simulator is on a flat, the regular PC game, and it is, I streamed the entire campaign, one of the DLCs, the Final Fantasy VII DLC, and several of the bonus jobs too. I never did go back and finish those, but I did all that on stream. Like, I power wash stuff for hours and hours on stream, just shooting the breeze with whoever was in the chat. On one notable occasion, Clues was grinding in Minecraft, and I was streaming Power Wash Simulator, and we hopped on a Discord call and shot the breeze for the entire stream. It was awesome. But in VR, oh my god, it's so much better. And it's been a problem. Like when I got home,
why is it a problem if it's so much better, or is it just that you haven't wanted to do anything else at all?
Exactly that. Yeah, I did manage to rip myself away from it to run a load of dishes yesterday. They are still in the dishwasher.
Okay, your girlfriend's name is Renee.
Yeah, and she has been like sick and not around. So other than the night that I had a killer headache, if I'm not dashing or streaming, I've been in the headset power washing things because it is so satisfying. So it's a problem. Like, I was gonna when I got home from dashing, I was gonna eat the food that I had, finish the episode of Letterkenny that I was watching, and then see how long I had to hop in the headset and finish the Firehouse job. And then I didn't even get to finish the Letterkenny episode because when I looked at the phone, it was 7:15, and I'm like, thought I had more time, and I just started eating. I'm like, I thought I had more time. I don't know what happened, because I try to knock off at 6:30 on nights when we have the show. So I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't been in the headset since before dashing, and I'm starting to twitch. But all right, so that'll be it, I think, for episode 701. What was that, Mike?
I showed Ashley the photo you posted on Facebook with the power wash graffiti. She thought it was amusing.
That was my art, yeah. I dropped another one, a different one in the Discord in the Inside Chewy's Mind channel. I wrote CS and RQ and wrote a heart around it because I've become that guy. It's me and Renee. And I took the screenshot and synced it to my phone and downloaded it to my phone so I could send it to her. Because I'm a big dork. A big smitten dork. But anyway, so with all of that, go sign up to Patreon. I guess, hopefully, the next time we do this will not be very far in the future, and we will finally finish this campaign, hopefully.
I mean, you're getting pretty close, depending on how long some of this took. I thought maybe we get there this time, or depending on, what actions
Decisions
you
made,
took.
yeah.
Yeah.
When this is all over, you're going to have to tell us some of those branching paths that happened with the pod.
Sure, absolutely. We'll definitely have a
postmortem
a
episode.
retrospective. Yeah.
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 All right, then.
Sounds good.
So, with that, thank you all. If you're still here, we appreciate you very much. Thank you all so much for listening, and don't fall for obvious illusions multiple times.